Oldish. The art of knowing more and caring less. With your hosts, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Oldish. It's so cool to have you guys here. You got me and Randy today because he's just off shooting a movie somewhere overseas, doing his thing, living his best life. But Randy and I wanted to jump in and discuss this week's episode that you guys just heard a few days ago with Shelley. She was just such an amazing guest. I mean, Randy, you and I were both blown away with the things that she was saying throughout the entire episode. My jaw was on the floor. Such an incredible, powerful woman. And understanding her story and seeing her was very inspiring for me because I'm not a person like her. I can lead, but I'm not an assertive person like her. I break rules, sure. I'm a forgiveness, not permission, but not as much as her. I think I often in my career have been like, okay, no, just fit in or just don't push too hard or push too much. Mm-hmm. And I look at her and I'm like, dang, I wonder if I had a little bit more of that mentality, where I could be at now. You know, and thinking how much further could I have gone with things or what could I have created? She's just so inspiring.
It's funny that you said that because I took that same thing. She has a level of confidence that isn't male bravado, how you think of like male confidence, but just a trailblazer, right? And the nuggets that she was sharing and the way that she sees the world. And she said something that I love that I wanted to bring up because she said, you never get a second chance for the moments. And you can miss a board meeting. You can miss something at the office, but the people that you love most might never forget what you miss of theirs. And that is something that in the workplace, especially for women in the past, that's been a big deal.
Yeah.
Is like you don't want to miss out because if you do, then someone else is going to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I myself and so many women I know have experienced that in workplaces throughout our lives of you really feel this pressure that you have to miss out on personal things or you're supposed to sacrifice these other things so you're always there for the job. Like, don't say no to it because someone else will come in and say, yes, you're replaceable. Don't be inconvenient. Don't be all these sorts of things that we just for some reason grow up with. And it feels like it's very predominantly a female thing. And I'm sure it is a male thing too. But hearing her say that about how much those moments are important. And I love what was really, really cool. And I love what you said about how confident she is. I loved so much hearing her confidence without arrogance.
Right.
No arrogance, no entitlement, no there wasn't any sharp edges to her confidence. It was just a grown, beautiful confidence of knowing who she is, what she's capable of, and knowing that I think what it comes from is knowing she's doing it for the greater good of women. Like she's not doing it for herself. And that's something that she seemed to always be in her career, right? It wasn't just for herself. It was for the betterment of all the women around her. Why are there not more women in the bathroom line, right? At these conferences she's going to, she notices that. She says, I don't like that. Even had interactions with women that were more of a, say, prehistoric belief, right? That weren't on her level of where women should sit and what it's like for them. And she said, no, thank you, and decided to create her own path and bring more women in, create her own lounges.
Right. Remember when she shared the story about she was at this meeting, this function, and then she's like, you know what? We need a team of women here. And then all the women came. And so I wonder, do you feel that could be a key to someone's confidence and achieving a little bit more success is doing it not just for you? Because I know for me, if it's just about me, I can fall into old childhood patterns of not enough or similar to what you were saying, like don't want to stand out. But when I think about doing something for someone else, when I could be of service, there's like a greater purpose and mission that takes over. And I'm like, I could do this. I could be brave because it's not just about me.
Yeah. I do think that brings a different level of confidence and ability to execute. I know for me in life say I don't really necessarily fight for myself. Even as a kid in school or bullying, whatever if it was for me, I would just suck it up and it's fine. But when it was for other people, a whole other person would come out. So that same concept of what you're saying is have it not just be for you, because I think there's some sort of underlying belief there that is selfish and maybe not okay. But when you are understanding that you are of service and you are bringing other people up with you, there's a whole other sense of purpose. Right. And I think that's the word too. Confidence, yes, but purpose. Because what are we when we're on our own? I think we're meant to be like pack animals or community, whatever you want to call it. And having your tribe around you, your people around you and bringing them up with you absolutely gives you not only support but purpose.
And we're so far from that, right? Because sometimes it's like there's not enough. There's that mentality of if I let you in, like I remember when I first started coaching, I remember a lot of people wanted to connect. And I was in a real, I would say, lack mentality where I'm like, oh no, if we do something together, then they might want to, work with you instead of me. And I don't remember when the crescendo was where I like went over the top where I'm like, there is enough for everyone. I'm going to bring you up and I'm going to help you because there's enough. Mm-hmm. But that fear of, oh my gosh, like we can't help each other because then there's not enough room.
Right. I get that. I totally understand that mentality. It's a funny thing. I think it's like when you're just starting at something new, or you're maybe you're just beginning or getting to know it more and more, like you with coaching. The more successful you get, the more confident that you get, the more you understand you can share that space with other people. But when we're in that not only space of scarcity, but also maybe insecurity, maybe part of that is the, yes, what you said, oh, maybe they'll want to work with you. But the underlying issue of that is maybe they won't want to work with me.
Exactly.
And so all we can really do is look at ourselves and go, okay, well, how can I be better at it? Because bringing other people in and sharing with other people is the way that we grow. To lead a company, you have to have allies. To lead a country, you have to have allies. You have to be for the people. We vote to have it be better for the people. It's supposed to be those sorts of things. So
it's supposed to
be those sorts of things. So we have to have that mentality, I think, even when striving for our own goals in the company that we work for. It has to also be for other people. When it is solely just for ourselves, I think it's harder to have supporters. And that's something that Shelley did so beautifully. It was always for the women around her. She saw something that was lacking. She saw a group of people that were in need. She saw, her people, the women around her that were trying to fit in this box and that box and be all these things. And she had that magical perspective of you don't need to fit into anyone else's box.
That's also what got me fired up. Is challenging beliefs.
Yes.
Like just because this is the way that it's always been done, why? Who said that? Does it even apply now? And this is something where there was one point where I just wanted to stand up and be like, yes,
I know.
Like,
she was
come
so
on,
like that.
Let's do this together because I don't know about you, but in this world, in this day and age right now, I want to challenge all the beliefs.
Yeah.
Because the things that have been done the way that they've been done doesn't mean that they're working.
It doesn't mean that they're working. I think it's also something that needs to happen here in America too, if I'm honest. Like one of the things that I wanted from the conversation with Shelley, which we sort of got a little bit of, was this maternity gap leave. And it's not just maternity gap, it's why is it so different here in America in comparison to other countries? So let's question that. Let's question that more. Let's break those old school belief systems, or the systems at least, in the way that it's working, and challenge it and do it differently, especially in the way that Shelley has done it. She runs her companies differently. We can all do that. And it is proven from so many European countries and other countries across the world. Happier people means more productive work, higher levels of intelligence, more babies being born, less mental health problems. If we actually work to break these systems that are keep putting people in boxes that don't make sense for them, then we can have happier people and we can have a healthier, happier nation. But this is such a broad umbrella of what we're talking about right now. We're talking about inequality. We're talking about food health. We've talked about vaccines. There are different systems in place everywhere in the world except America. America's systems are, to be quite honest, archaic in comparison. The rest of the world has grown. And it doesn't mean everywhere. Obviously, everywhere has its issues. Even my beloved Australia has its shit. You know what I mean? But I wish that we in America would start looking at things differently and being more open to those conversations and not seeing it as though we're saying something is bad. We're just saying that it's changed.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, right? Having Dr. Joel Gator Warsh on, right? And I remember in the comments, 95% of people were saying, thank you for doing this. Thank you for having him on. Thank you for having this conversation. Then there were some people who were saying, why are you doing this? This has been debunked. And I had to write them back because I couldn't help myself, because what we're trying to do here is to have the conversations that are not being had.
Yes.
I mean, Oldish can be fun, and it can be this sort of like, hey, we know we're middle-aged and there's things that we're dealing with now. But also to look at the conversations that people are scared to have. So whether it is COVID, whether it is certain medications, vaccines, education systems, financial, can we just sit and talk about it? It doesn't mean that someone has to be right or wrong. It just means that we can get to a place that hopefully is far better, far greater than where we're at now.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think we're getting there. You know, I think there are more people questioning things. We have people like Joel, and Shelley that are leading the way. And there's people like us having the conversations. It means it opens it up to people. And I think it's a long road. Change is slow. Change is hard.
I'm impatient.
Same, dude, same. But there's more and more people like us all the time, And then I also see the people in comments or DMs that say, wow, I never knew this, or I never thought of this, and thank you, and I'm going to look into this. And so it is opening up the conversations more and more around all the subjects that we talk about. But we got to wait for the rest of the country to catch up. We got to wait for media to catch up, too, because headlines make money, and so they become explosive. For example, just a few weeks ago, we had only just before had Joel on the show, and he was talking about how only 10% of the population was doing the COVID mandate vaccine for their kids. Only 10% of the population. He's like, that is a huge problem because it means your country doesn't have trust in the system. This was the conversation around it. And then not long ago, it came out that RFK, who is radical, don't get me wrong, I'm not in full support here, but I'm saying he came forward and said it's now lifted off the list of mandatory. Vaccines for your kids. And the media headlines, RFK is pulling this, he's wanting to make your kids sick, yada, yada, yada. Explosive headlines, yet it doesn't represent the country. And that's my point.
And that's what
People
Essie
are
Cupp
changing.
said when
Really?
She was on.
Yes.
She said so much of the country is actually in the middle. It's not so far right. It's not so far left. But that's not represented because that doesn't induce fear. It doesn't get people's attention in the same way.
Exactly.
And that was really refreshing to me to hear someone who delivers the news, who debates about it, saying, this is the idea behind it. It is to get your attention. And we have to think, in this day and age, it's still ratings. It's still attention grabbing. I'm not here to say that all news is bad and don't be informed, but to hear her say, pick and choose where you get it. Pick and choose your mental health and put that over just being addicted to fear and headlines, because now everyone's walking around going, we're all gonna die because this vaccine mandate has been lifted, or because this is happening or that's happening. It's like, wait a second. Maybe we can start with a foundational baseline of we're all semi-okay. Things will be okay. And hopefully through these conversations, we will get a little bit more okayness.
A little bit more okayness and informed. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's why I love, and I know we sort of diverted onto different guests of ours, but Shelley was just another one that was so wonderful and inspiring to see the way she's changing things.
Yes.
From her point of view and the influence and the impact that she is having on this country. And not even this country, in the way she practices and the way she works and the way she brings women in, the world, right?
Yes.
These people are changing the world, and how very cool that we get to talk to them and get inspired by them.
To
I
be
know,
with
right?
World Changers. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, this was the one right before this, please go back and listen to Shelley's episode, because there are so many nuggets. You don't just have to be in business to get something from it. It is about how you view the world, how you view taking risks, how you view time, prioritizing your family, and just doing things differently in a way that leads to something better.
Absolutely. And if I may add, just because we touched on it too, if you haven't had a chance to listen to Joel Gator Walsh's episode, please go back and check that. It is not an episode that is against vaccines or says that they're bad at all.
No.
It talks about the science that's been done, the science that's missing, and gives you access to information to help better inform and help you get more okayness, as we were just talking about. We've had some good episods recently,
have.
Randy. My
We
God,
have.
this season's been on fire.
We're going to keep going.
We are.
We're going to keep bringing it.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone. As always, please, if you could do us a favor and like, subscribe, follow, however you are listening or viewing this. It really helps us more than you know, bring incredible guests, have people like Shelley and others. So please go do that now, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that you don't have to navigate life alone. If there's something hard that you're dealing with, or you're just ready for a change, then reach out to me at randyspelling.com, or you could DM me on Instagram, also at randyspelling. And if I can help you, I will. If there's a resource that I can share with you, I will also do that as well. Thanks.